Hello, Dave here with emergencyprepguy.com. I appreciate you stopping by. Since in the last couple of videos I showed you my meat rabbits, and in one of those videos I mentioned that at that time the rabbits were not quite old enough for me to start breeding them. I know I'm going to get a lot of questions on that, so I thought that would be a great topic for today's video. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how old do your rabbits need to be before you can start breeding them. So we're going to answer that question, but first I wanted to take you with me as I do my morning chores, my very light morning chores. I'm kind of excited about that. I like to design things so that they're low maintenance. So since I have automatic feeders in everything but the rabbits, and I have an automatic watering system, really my chores consist of, beside feeding the rabbits, just checking on everybody. So we'll do that, and then we'll get to answering that question. Okay, this is my my buck. He's a blue silver fox, super gentle. He's about 7 months old. He was born April 28th, I believe. And again, he's just really gentle. Now he's obviously, I got him when he was right at 6 months old. He's never been bred before. The standard rule for most meat rabbits is about 6 months old is how old you want them to be before you breed them. But what matters more than the age is their weight. You want them to be at full weight, which for most meat rabbit breeds will be 10 or 11 pounds. Those standard Rex, I'm thinking they're probably going to end up at full weight at about 9 pounds. We'll see when they get there. I don't think they're quite full grown yet. We'll talk about them in a minute. I haven't weighed them yet, but I can tell you this little guy here is at full weight. So if your rabbits get to full size early, like maybe you got really good genetics and they grow up early, it might be okay. I mean, they might be to full weight at like 5 months, and then that's perfectly fine. Now, some people breed rabbits when they're even younger than that, as young as 4 months old. I've heard. I've never done that. The problem that you have, particularly like with a buck, since I'll talk about a buck first, since I'm holding him here. If you put a buck that's never bred before with a doe that's bigger than him or more experienced, especially if she's a little bit cranky, if she's mean to him at all and doesn't want him to breed, it may scar him emotionally to where he just won't try to breed anymore. And so that's something that you want to be careful about. It's a good idea if you can always breed like an inexperienced buck with a more experienced doe, as long as her temperament's good and you know that she's generally receptive to being bred, and vice versa. A new doe, it's better if you breed them the first time with a more experienced buck. I don't have the option to do that here because all of these rabbits are he's 7 months old. They're just now 6 months old. They were born like May, I think it was May 30th of this year. So I'm going to put him away really quick and get one of the does. Now, this little girl here is both of these girls. They're full-blood sisters. They're super sweet. But as you can see, hopefully, I don't know how well you can tell. I haven't weighed them, but they're significantly smaller than the buck. This little girl here is bigger than her sister. So the problem that you have with a doe when you breed them too young, typically a doe's first pregnancy, first batch of babies is kind of stressful, and they don't really know what they're doing. I mean, they have instincts, so they know what they're doing, but they tend to struggle with their first litter more than they do after that, and that is compounded if you start the doe too young. You don't want to wait too long either. Sometimes then the doe can get an attitude and not really want to be receptive, not want to be bred. But right around the time they get full weight is ideal. So when you, like I was saying, when you breed them too young, the doe will just have, she might not be as ready and mature physically. She is, because she got pregnant, but a lot of times they'll have a tougher time with their first batch of babies than they would otherwise. I'm gonna want to let them get a little bit older, see if they can get to full weight. She might be at her full weight. I've never had standard Rex before. She might be at full weight, but I'm gonna give her a little bit extra time. Plus, the coldest time of the year is January, first part of January, and that's where she would be having her first litter if I bred her right away. So I'm gonna probably wait another month and just make sure she's at full size before I breed her. But she's super sweet. So that's my only disappointment in these standard Rexes, having not had them before, is they are quite a bit smaller than, at least so far. Hopefully they'll get a little bit bigger, but they are quite a bit smaller than the buck, and they're smaller than my New Zealand rabbits that I used to have. So, but as far as personality, they're super sweet, and very soft. I really like that aspect of them. I'm interested to see, with them being a little bit smaller and my silver fox buck being good size, I'm interested to see how big the offspring will be. So. She got way back in the corner and was kind of hard to catch. Normally she's the most friendly unless we pet her. Anyway, you can see she's quite a bit smaller. I haven't weighed them, but she's quite a bit smaller than her sister. And so she's one I'm gonna probably wait a couple of months and see if she, how big she ends up before I actually breed her. When you breed a rabbit for the first time, sometimes they're not familiar with it. They have a little bit of trouble figuring it out, and so sometimes it can be a little bit tough. I'll do a video when I do breed these rabbits and show you the process. One other thing that can be a problem when you're breeding rabbits, if you breed them too young, especially like for the doe, because it takes so much out of their body to grow the babies, they might not ever get to the full weight, and that might kind of stunt the rabbit's growth a little bit. So again, just to kind of wrap up, my general rule is I like the doe, I like both of them to be full weight, about 10-11 pounds. I may not get that weight out of these standard Rexes, so at least 9 pounds out of them. And then I prefer to do a more experienced buck with a new doe, or a more experienced doe with a new buck, as long as the doe's not mean. Okay, well, thanks so much for watching the video all the way to this point. I hope it was interesting. And in closing this video, I thought it might be fun to leave you guys with a few short clips of my cute animals. So I'll leave you with that. Again, thanks so much, and we'll talk to you in the next video.